Deep in the shadows, I know it's hard to put one foot in front of the other.
Hi everyone, welcome to the channel. I'm CeeChronicles, and on this platform I post fragrance related content, particularly fragrances from the Middle East. Now if you like that style of content, kindly subscribe. Also remember to like and comment, guys. You're going to see the like and comment button right there where I'm pointing. Please click those buttons as well, because they're very helpful in terms of the YouTube algorithm. If you're returning, thank you so much for coming back. Now welcome to part 2 of DNAs from the Middle East that haven't been ganged up on per se. If you watched my part 1 of this particular series, I showed you some of the fragrances from the Middle East that have DNAs that have been overly done. You know, DNAs that have been overly done or overly replicated are, for example, the Baccarat Rouge 540, Killian Angel Share, as well as that Delina. Now, you know, if you are into Middle Eastern fragrances, or if you're new to Middle Eastern fragrances and you're buying without actually testing, you may find yourself with a lot of renditions of the same thing. So in that part 1, I did promise a part 2 and part 3 where I was going to show you some of the DNAs I'll recommend from the Middle East. Guys, I am jaundiced, okay, so please don't worry about what's happening. That's the reason why I wasn't coming, you know, with videos, because I was just trying to get the yellow bit to kind of tone down, especially in the eyes and stuff, right? So number 1, guys, is going to be from the house of Orientica. This is a very similar to that MFK Gentle Fluidity Gold, a fragrance that's very vanilla forward, a little bit powdery, a little bit musky, and it has a little bit of some juniper berry. I love this one particularly because of how long lasting it is. I do have a second option for you. This one is from Fragrance World's Barakat Gentle Gold. It's going to give you that MFK Gentle Fluidity Gold vibe. It's going to give you a vanilla, you know, that is very soothing and polished. It's going to give you a little bit of the juniper as well, vibing very similar to that Gentle Fluidity Gold. But I find that I have to reapply this, whereas I do not have to reapply this. So this is a longer lasting, and of course comes with a refinement, you know, that you get from the Orientica fragrances. If you have purchased Orientica fragrances, you will know that they have that refinement that you get from the Swiss Arabian fragrances, you know, where the juice in itself is not screechy and stuff. And I'm not saying this is screechy, but I'm just saying the choice is entirely up to you. But these are going to give you that MFK Gentle Fluidity Gold DNA, which hasn't been, you know, ganged up on, if you ask. The next fragrance I want to talk about is Iris L'Absolute from the house of Arabiette. Arabiette has got 3 fragrances in a bottle like this. One is, I think, cream in color. The second Iris comes in a matte gray, you know, color, something like this. And then this is the one I absolutely love. I love this one, guys, because it is a fragrance that vibes very similar to that BDK Velvet Tonka, right? So if you love your almondy toned fragrances, if you love your sweet fragrances, a touch of tonka, a little bit of maybe tobacco in there, then you're absolutely gonna love this, right? The other fragrance that I have had in my collection that was drawing inspiration from that BDK Velvet Tonka was from Swiss Arabian, and it was the one in a turquoise bottle called Xerjoff Oud Tonka. I haven't come across this DNA numerous times, so that's why I wanted to recommend it to you. Arabiette also has long-lasting fragrances, guys, so don't sleep on this house. I love how they work around, you know, especially with the oil concentration of their fragrances. So if you want something at par with that Velvet Tonka by BTK, then I recommend Iris L'Absolute from the house of Arabiette. Now moving on, guys. Oh well, before I show you the other 2, let me just clue you up on a DNA that's kind of looking like it's gonna go that direction. So you ought to perhaps test, unless you absolutely love it, and that is the Guidance DNA. Okay, all of my Guidance dupes or fragrances that are going for that DNA, I absolutely love this one from Hadlaj. I got 2 of these from Hadlaj, going for that Amouage Guidance, and I actually like this one the most, okay, the Musk Pearl Ember. But I do have a feeling that this is about to be ganged up on DNA wise. Why I say so is I believe Fragrance World has got one in a bottle shaped like their logo. I think the female one, if I'm not mistaken, is also drawing inspiration from that Guidance. I can't remember what the name was, but because that one and these will then make 4, then it means it's certainly a DNA that maybe is about to be ganged up on. A Decadence Dream from Maison Alhambra vibes exactly like that guidance. So I'm just here to clue you up. In terms of performance, you know, these two kind of vibe the same. The Paris Corner by Anna Alstra one, as well as the Maison Alhambra Decadent Dream, they kind of vibe the same. The one that I like the most is the Musk Pour Amber. This one is really, really pushy. So I would say if you were looking for a guidance DNA and you're a little bit confused because of so many renditions on the market, then you ought to, you know, maybe start or try this Musk Pour Amber. Now, moving on to another DNA that I'll certainly recommend because it's beautiful, guys, in as much as these are dupes, right? The Atelier DNA from the house of Parfums de Marly is one of those DNAs that I absolutely love. I know it comes in the bottles that are targeted for men, meaning it's masculine leaning, but I absolutely love that fragrance. I hope Parfums de Marly give us perhaps a version that comes in a female bottle, right? These two draw inspiration from that Atelier, and I don't think there's been a lot of renditions of the Atelier, right? This is not limited to, I know some of you guys in the comment section might come and say, oh, this house has. I am just talking about the ones that I have and that are quite impressive. So if you're looking for that Atelier DNA, something that's vanilla forward, a gourmand that's safe for men, okay, a gourmand with a little bit of a masculine tone to it, spicy, woody as well, then either one of these are going to do. My personal, you know, favorite is this one because I find it sweeter and I find that it offers a less of that masculine vibe as opposed to liquid brune, but can't fault the two. Just gonna depend on your pocket. Guys, is Ophidian Mango Bliss. Mine is a little bit wobbly because the rubber thing, you know, that comes with these bottles falls off with time, so it's it doesn't clip on anymore. Okay, so Ophidian Mango Bliss is from House of Paris Corner, drawing inspiration of Stephen Lambert's Soul Something, okay, the one with the mango. This is definitely a mango forward fragrance. It's sweet. It also has some florals, but it's beautifully done, and it's certainly a DNA that I would say if you want something different and you're tired of some of these DNAs that keep coming back, then I recommend you purchase this. It does have a sweet mango in the opening, but that same mango tones down as you wear this fragrance, introducing something that kind of vibes like a green tone of a mango, but it does keep that, you know, that fruitiness of it, and sharing a little bit of a floralness there and a powdery accord. So Ophidian Mango Bliss is an offering from Paris Corner that I can certainly recommend as one fragrance that has a DNA that hasn't been overly done. Next up are these two fragrances, guys, vibing a lot like Mimo's Sintra. So if you're looking for something that is going to give you that vibe, you ought to try Melody di Orientica or Nadine from Al Watania, right? These two fragrances have a sugar accord working with a lot of citruses. They vibe a lot like Sintra, and it's going to be up to your preference, your pocket, you know, and accessibility. So this is Nadine from Al Watania and Orientica, and this one is Melody di Orientica. Next up, guys, are two of my favorites, one from Ajmal and this one from Maison Alhambra called Greasy. I think Maison Alhambra have since repackaged this and renamed it. I think it's now called Grey Mountain. So if you look for Greasy, perhaps you can still find it, but the newer one is called Grey Mountain. It's just the same juice repackaged. Greasy by Maison Alhambra as well as Ajmal's Evoke are fragrances that vibe a lot like that Gris Gio. These two are both inspired by that Gris Gio, offering a powdery, musky, even makeup-y vibe. If you want full reviews, I do have full reviews of these two. But that Gris Gio DNA is a complex one that hasn't been replicated over and over again. So Greasy, or repackaged as Grey Mountain, draws inspiration of that Gris Gio, as well as Evoke from Ajmal. I personally love both because though they're going for the same thing, I find that they interpret different in projection. This one is loud in terms of the powderiness, and this one has the same powderiness but smoothened. So they vibe different to me. And now that I say so, let me just show you another pair, Avant Silk from Maison Alhambra. It's drawing inspiration of that Creed Queen of Silk. Now, why I pulled this one and said, let me just show you something quickly. The powderiness I get in here, the grownness that I get in here, the projection and the loud, vibe that I get in Avant Silk kind of vibes like this. These two fragrances are not the same, but I'm just saying, right, as I showed you the Ajmal Evoke and this one, both going for that Gio, there is a thing that Maison Alhambra does when it comes to their powderiness, where sometimes it can be in your face. I did get some people saying that powderiness is so intense that it kind of vibes like mothbally, and I do get it from here. That is what makes it different from this one, okay, which is Kiana Crush, but both going for that Queen of Silk by Creed. Again, if you want full reviews of these, I'm going to leave them in the description. I have done full reviews of both fragrances. I think I even did comparisons of both fragrances, but why they're here, guys, is that Creed Queen of Silk is a fragrance that was dropped by Creed this year, and it is a fairly new DNA. So if you get either one of these, you're not going to get a washed up DNA from the Middle East. Avant Silk by Maison Alhambra, as well as Kiana Crush by Afnan. And now next up is Montaigne Cocoa and Kayali's Utopia Vanilla Cocoa. These two fragrances are not the same, but they do have that coconut working with the vanilla that kind of vibes the same, okay? I personally love the sweetness of this. I personally love the intensity of the vanilla in this, but I also like how the coconut interplays in this. So if you we're looking at Kayali's Utopia Vanilla Cocoa and wondering how the coconut and the vanilla vibe, if you get this, it's not going to throw you off a lot. If you love this, you're definitely going to love this, but I'm not saying these two fragrances are dupes of each other. I'm just saying these are also DNAs from the Middle East that haven't been washed up, guys. Both of them, to my nose, vibing a lot like that Mancera Cocoa Vanille, okay? That's how both of them kind of vibe. This one is a 101 dupe with that Mancera's Cocoa Vanille, while this one is a tweaked version. But as I said, if you like this, you're probably gonna love this. And speaking of which, it does seem as though I am favoring Maison Alhambra, and I'm not biased towards Maison Alhambra. It just so happens that out of the fragrances I picked, I do have a lot of Maison Alhambra. And guys, don't sleep on Maison Alhambra, because remember, they're the ones that gave us that Burberry Goddess DNA first in Athena. So they know what they're doing, and they're offering us DNAs that are not really washed up. The next fragrances, guys, are from two different houses again, Atelier Roses Vanilla and Ajuad by Latafa. Both fragrances have that vanilla and the rose. Both fragrances feel as though they were inspired by Roses Vanille, but are a Middle Eastern twist. And why I have them here is, in as much as we had a gazillion takes to that Roses Vanille, we didn't have a gazillion take to the twists, right? So I have this to show you that if you like the Mancera Roses Vanille DNA, but you want it spicy and woody with kind of like a Middle Eastern weight, then these two are fragrances that you can consider purchasing and adding to your collection, but they're not easy on the nose. I actually find that Roses Vanilla by Arabiette is a little bit doable as opposed to this one. This one is so screechy, guys. It's Ajuad from Latafa and Atelier Roses Vanilla by Arabiette of the Arabiette Prestige line. Put Massad Royal to show you here that this fragrance, guys, vibes a lot like Ariana Grande's Maude Vanilla. And I haven't come across a lot of takes to that Maude Vanilla. So if you were looking for an alternative to that Maude Vanilla, something very vanilla forward there with a plum, but certainly a little bit fruity, but more vanillin, then this is certainly a fragrance I can, recommend to you from the house of Al Wataniya. It's called Massad Royale. It's the red one. Remember, they do have a blue one, right? And we're about to finish, guys. And I have pulled the Maison Alhambra again, right? This is Kismet for Women, drawing inspiration of that Killian Good Girl Gone Bad. If you want another alternative, you can get your Zemaya La Rose. Also draws inspiration of that Good Girl Gone Bad. It's going to have a little bit of some jasmine. It's also going to be a little bit sour. You know how it interprets to my nose. It kind of feels a little bit sour there, but it also has a fruit, if I'm not mistaken. Dries down soapy, musky. Another DNA that you may want to test first because it's not very crowd pleasing, this. So La Rose by Zemaya, as well as Maison Alhambra Kismet for women. Next up are these two. Okay, these two fragrances draw inspiration of Amouage Latte, all right? And one is Cafe Latte from the house of Khadlaj, as well as Zemaya's Tiramisu Coco. I love these fragrances, right? The only thing I can fault from both fragrances is the longevity. They tend to stay close to the skin. They are gourmands. They have, you know, that realistic latte feel. So if you like to smell yummy, these are certainly fragrances that you can, you know, add to your collection, but both of them smell the same. Both of them are very similar to that Amouage Latte. So it's going to be up to preference, house, etc., right? So this is Khadlaj Cafe Latte, as well as Zemaya's Tiramisu Coco. But do take note that Zemaya has got one that's in this bottle, but in the color cream. It's Tiramisu Caramel, and that is a Bianco Latte DNA. So guys, Bianco Latte's renditions have been given to us by so many houses. So maybe if you're looking at which one to get from Zemaya, from those bottles, then you ought to get the Tiramisu Coco. Last on the lineup are these two, right? Utter Nature one and Khadlaj Fasan Brown, both fragrances drawing inspiration from Oud Maracuja by Maison Crivelli. The Oud Maracuja DNA has been surfacing here and there. I'm just going to talk about these ones because I do have them in my collection. I do find that it's a unique DNA, but you have to like oody, woody, you know, fragrances. The oud in here is a little bit rubbery, even inky. I personally like this rendition, but yes, I have to caution you guys, the DNA, that Oud Maracuja DNA is not easy on the nose, especially if you're new to fragrances. So you may want to test either one of these if you're going for that DNA. But my personal preference is this one. Yes, in as much as the Maracuja DNA is one that's kind of coming over and over again, I think these two, you know, do justice to that DNA. That's why I had to show you. And they're the last ones on the lineup. Thank you so much, guys, for joining me today. Let's meet in the comment section, or you can drop some of these, you know, fragrances that you feel haven't been overly done, just to help a brother or a sister out there, you know, who's tired of collecting the same thing over and over again. Remember to turn on post notifications, guys. That way you get to be notified anytime I upload a video. Like and share this one. And remember, guys, that smelling good is a form of good manners. Cheers.